Okay, this is part 2 of the video I was making before. I'm going to have to split it up because my video was getting too long. Anyways, as far as naming conventions go, just again make sure that you don't have any spaces in your names, just to avoid any potential issues that might arise with that. Additionally, have no v1, v2, v3 type thing going on. The point of using Git is that we do have version control, so as you make changes to a Maya file and commit those changes, and then later make other changes and commit those new changes to the same file, we are able to go back and look at old versions of that file, right? So there's no need to have v1, v2, v3, and definitely please, if you are making new changes to a file, do not create a new version of that file for your newer version, right? That's going to make things really messy, and it just adds unnecessary things to the Git repo that we don't want. So again, no v1, v2, v3 type thing going on. It should just be the one file and commit changes as they come through. That way we do have the versioning history on here, but we don't have multiple versions of the file existing, right? Unless we go back. So there's that. Another thing is naming convention wise, it doesn't matter too much, but it would be preferable if you guys did camel casing. This doesn't matter too much. I'm not going to reject your file if it has underscores. That's fine. I will reject your pull request if you have spaces or if you have v1, v2, v3. But ultimately other stuff, as long as it's totally readable and understandable what your file is, and as long as it's in the right place, I don't care too much if you use underscores, if you don't use capitals, if whatever. So there's that. As you are doing your files, make sure you are saving them to correct places again. And suppose you're doing a Maya project, right? When you create a new Maya project, I'm going to save this, right? And I'm going to save this into assets, right? Because this is going to be an asset. And hey, you know what? This is a new character. This is going to be the mimic, right? And I would save it here. Name it whatever. Save that, right? Additionally, you should be setting your projects because we are going to have a whole bunch of different things here, and you are going to be referencing in things from other folders and stuff as we are doing animations and setting up scenes and all that kind of stuff. So what you need to do is you need to say set project, right? And you're going to select the Maya folder to set the project, and you're going to set it like that, right? So now it's set to the Maya folder. What this allows us to do is when we make references to things, suppose John is making a reference in their scene to another asset that exists, right? And this asset is located, under assets, props, apartment props, and this is going to be a couch, right? I'm referencing a couch. Well, me being John, that file is located in, d//John's stuff / name of the repository, blah, 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 right? When Meredith pulls in these changes to her own repository and wants to reference those same files, the reason why setting your project is important is because if you set it to the Maya folder, right, then your version of the file, Maya is going to be able to look at that reference and recognize, oh, I see some recognizable folder structure here. I know that Maya / assets / props stuff, right? So I can look for it on my local device. If you haven't set your project, then it's going to look at that file path and it's going to say, oh, I need to find things in the d// John folder, and that doesn't exist on your computer because you're Meredith, right? So that's why it's really important to set your project and set it to the Maya file. That way, as we start working with references and other things and populating scenes with multiple different references of other things, your version is able to make a relative reference to where things should be within your own Maya folder rather than going and looking for John's folders or Meredith's folders, which don't exist on your computer, right? So every time that you are creating these Maya things, make sure you are setting the project to the Maya folder and, saving it within the proper file place. So anyways, I think that's basically all that I need to go over right now. Definitely let me know if you guys have any questions about things, about how pull requests work specifically, or if you guys are having issues with those kinds of things, or whatever. But yeah, hopefully you guys should know how to do that now. And the main things to remember: put things in the correct, put your assets in the correct folders. Don't put spaces in your namings. Don't put version 1, version 2 in your namings. And when you put in pull requests, do them from your own version of the repository to this one with the numbers. That's my version of the repository. I have the master version. And do it to my dev branch always, right? You should never be putting in pull requests to my main branch. I will reject your pull request and you'll have to put in a new one, okay? So do that. Additionally, sorry, this is one last thing. When you need to get up to date with the new changes, right, you are going to make a pull request from my version of the repository, dev or main or whatever, right? I'll let you know which one you want. And then to your version of the repository. And this will allow you to say, hey, I would like to see the changes that you have on your version of the repository. Please, allow me to have those changes. And so you can put in that, and that will help you to get up to date with all of the assets and stuff. So yeah, that is all. Hopefully there's not too many issues. Make sure to make commits regularly as you make file changes, as you create new files and stuff. Don't make pull requests regularly necessarily, but whenever you have big changes to put in as a pull request and whenever your stuff is approved, you can put it in a pull request. Just make sure to commit regularly on your own stuff. Anyways, that's all. Have a nice day.